Hi, and welcome to B.A.P, the Biased Anime Podcast with your host, Sky.
Hello.
And myself, Jaka. Hello. We're here today to talk about upcoming anime and, of course, our head-to-head, which we are back into the swing of because we actually watched it this time, didn't we?
Yay. I only just finished it this afternoon, so.
Yeah, it was a bit of a hard one this time. Not as in hard to watch, just it took us a bit of time. Plus, there was so much anime we watched the last 2 weeks that we've just been gushing over, especially the latest episode of Solo Leveling.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. Let's go straight into it. Solo Leveling, Sky.
It's still a standout. It's one of my favorite anime that it just shows that have come out just in general this year, but also just like of all time. Like it's like one of my easily one of my top 5 now.
Oh, 100%.
Like it's so hype. Like the fights are so well choreographed, and it the what? Oh god, I'm stammering. Just thinking about the last fight, each like impact frames phenomenal, action phenomenal, tension phenomenal. The worst part about the show so far is the cliffhangers.
Yes, the cliffhangers have been. Every time they do it, someone takes the new cliffhanger still and makes the meme where the guy's flipping the table. Every week has been the same meme, just using the cliffhanger. It's keeping the meme business going, though. You gotta love that. The internet's loving that. Do you know what they're not liking, though?
What's that?
Because even knowing we do fan over this anime, and I'm sure there's people out there who are angry at us for like giving it this much hype, but some people haven't liked it, which I find quite impressive, because it's not only is it the most liked episode in Crunchyroll's history, it's also the most disliked.
But
they hold both titles.
What? Hold on.
I think a few people aren't happy.
Is it the manhwa fans that are just like mad about something happening in the fight that should have happened, or like
apparently a lot was changed. Not massively to change the storytelling, if you will. But they're I don't really want to go too spoilery because it has just come out this episode. Like some people probably have missed it, especially people who work weekends and stuff. I don't want to ruin their fun if they have to listen to us for some reason.
Oh, yeah, we are releasing this tomorrow. It came out Saturday.
Yeah, the reason we also released this today is because we wanted to wait for the episode because we knew it was going to be a big one. The build up to this fight has been, I mean, that fight was what, nearly 11 minutes
at least.
Which in the show's what, 20 something minutes?
About 22. Yeah, it was half of the episode. Fantastic. Oh my god.
Insane. If you love sound design,
yes,
and if you love impact frames
and choreography and tension and the eye. Oh god, the eye.
Oh, the eye. So people obviously don't know. We're not going to try and spoil it too much, but it's up there with like when Dragon Ball broke the internet and One Piece tried to break the internet, even though I'm a One Piece fan, I'll understand it didn't. But these fights that have been building and building and building, you know, ones where fans of the show or even the manhwa or mangas, like when it hits, you know, I mean, obviously if you've read the book of any book, like people who've read Lord of the Rings when the films came out, and The Hobbit when the films came out, people were angry because the directors and the producers have changed things. But a few things they've changed, which I've seen online, which seems a little odd, is like they edited some scenes from the, like in the book, he actually does resurrect some ants, and they see that happening.
Oh.
But they changed that in this episode, which is not really a spoiler because obviously you know he can do that by now.
Maybe he will next episode then.
I think they have just moved some stuff around. Apparently they cut some scenes, they added some scenes. The fight is longer in the anime than it is in the book.
Which I'm not complaining about at all.
Never complaining. Considering I was expecting the last fight we had with the demon being bigger, I can understand where the budget went now.
Yeah.
Some of these impact frames, like the one I took a screenshot of and showed you earlier, which I'll post in the Game Club Biased Anime link, it reminds me of an old anime called Furikuri, where it's like it's this like TV head robot flying in the sky. It's almost the same color scheme. I was like, wow, I wonder if it's the same art director or if they took inspiration from it, because it's as we were talking about yesterday, impact frames are they were black and white as the video you showed me, but now they added
Mhm.
more color or references in there because it's only a split second.
Right, just like a single frame, but the high contrast allows it to just be more impactful, adds more force to the action, bit of a jarring jump.
So seeing an impact frame with a blue background and red like silhouette, really like I picked that scene out. That's why I asked you to stop it and like go back to see it.
Yeah, and you took a screenshot of it.
Yeah, it's weird what your brain can pick out in a frame of an anime or like a TV show. I suppose it arcs back to Fight Club when they're talking about inserting the two splices of film for like a second.
Oh, yeah, subliminal messaging almost.
Yeah, it's like it's weird, isn't it? How like anime can do that as well, and you maybe have never noticed. I actually saw it today in a YouTube video where someone had done the exact same thing, and I went back and all the comments were like, "Did anyone else see that?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry, it did happen. I'm not losing my mind." So, any more on Solo Leveling? Of course, we would talk more, but spoilers, obviously, we don't want to go too hard on them because it's just come out.
I'm just gonna keep being a huge fan of it, and I can't wait till the next episode. Like honestly, the fights in this one, I was so hyped. We were watching it really late last night, and I was like, I can't sleep after this. It was so
We actually
hyped,
watched it twice.
right? We went back and watched the fight twice. Like, yeah, my blood was pumping, my heart was racing. Just, I was so hyped. Oh my god, yeah. We watched it again and broke down the fight like nearly frame by frame. It was so worth it. It's so much fun.
I know it's a good anime when I'm not mad if someone pauses it during the showing because their hype's too much. Like when you're just like, I've got to take a minute just to like digest what my brain has seen.
Yep. Sorry, I did do that, didn't I?
Oh, I'm fully with you. My brain, I feel like the guy who was watching the fight with his eyes darting everywhere. Like you had to watch it multiple times to catch what was going on. Things you missed in like even when you just watched it, we rewatched it and we missed things. And yeah, of course
Mhm.
we're going frame by frame, but you saw it and your brain recognized it. But seeing it like in the moment, you're like, they took time to draw that. They didn't need to, but they did.
It's been a while since the show has brought me to the edge of my seat and just being really anxious to see the next frame. Like I was holding on. It was so much fun to watch. Highly recommend it.
If people are sleeping on Solo Leveling because it's been overhyped, I can kind of understand it. A lot of people kind of miss an anime because they go, well, people are talking about too much, spoilers are everywhere, I'll watch it when it fully comes out. It's understandable. I feel like you miss it though if you don't see it yourself before spoilers. Like obviously
Before the studio spoils
Yeah.
it for you by posting the entire fight on Twitter, like they did the week before last.
Studio's a little, I don't know what their advertising team was thinking, but I mean, they've got to do something, I guess. How do you hype a show that's already hype, I suppose? You know, it's like, oh, just show it, bugger it.
Just the whole thing. God.
But the another show as well, let's say, came out today, actually. So this is like fresh off the presses, Shangri La Frontier.
Really fun episode. I honestly, I do like the back and forth between the games that Sunraku. Hold on. Is that? Wait. Hold
Are
on.
you okay?
Yep.
Sunraku.
Sunraku. Yeah, I was like, is that the guy's name? Yes, it is. Sunraku is bouncing
We
between
watched
games.
it today.
I know. You know how bad with names I am. I have to write things down, and I
Oh
did
yeah,
not
you're
have
bad
to,
with names.
I don't have any reference.
I'm
I
terrible.
pronounced them
just go chicken
correctly.
head. Just chicken head.
Oh my gosh. No, but Sunraku jumping between games and like while he's in the middle of fighting a game tournament with his friends, like just decides to go back into the game Shangri La Frontier and just nearly soloing something called the King. Like,
Again, this is today spoilers as well. So we feel like this one can be spoiled a little bit because I expect it's not got the hype that Solo's got, but yet they did a crossover with posters, which I thought was quite entertaining. I don't know if I showed you that because they're both dual wielders of like short swords. They dual wield. They swapped swords for a poster campaign, which was odd. Like, I don't know why. Maybe it's just like boost up each other, kind of. I don't know why you need to boost up Solo Leveling. It's on every website. Everything's talking about it. But Shangri La, people probably have slept on Shangri La. Maybe because the IRL life stuff is a little bit dragging, maybe in the show.
Yeah, at least season 2's got less of the
love.
I would say season 2 has less of the love interest, and even still, they kind
Yeah.
of downplayed it in the first season, so it was less annoying. It was kind of like more of like an after credit kind of afterthought, still having it part of the story, but not part of the main episode format, which I enjoyed because it led more to the action and the story of the game. It's been a really fun watch. The action sequences are fun. Not nearly as hyped as Solo Leveling, but it's still really fun to watch Sunraku in his journey of exploring this game. Getting into the lore of it, I've really enjoyed because it starts to reveal history, right? Like I want to know more about the lore of the game.
Mm. Yeah, I know. It has potential to be, I feel like, multiple seasons and maybe even spin-offs, because we've got a lot about this game, like hints, just like little breadcrumbs of like it's 1% complete now after they beat Weatherman. You're like, what does that mean? Like,
Right?
what is that? What is this game? And we've seen characters from the game who are like the devs, and it seems like they live there and their whole life. It's like that guy who runs the Helldivers campaign. I forget the guys.
Was it Joel? They just keep him locked in a room.
Just Joel doesn't. Joel went on a holiday and everyone said the game was too easy, so he came back and made it the hardest game in the world. Apparently, automaton factories are walking around as feckin' herds now, and he's like, "Are you happy? Are you happy what you said?" The guy's likened to that from Jigsaw from Saw.
Oh my gosh.
He lives to torture, and that's what I feel like these devs do, because they're updating the game whilst Sunraku's playing it.
Yep. Yeah, like he's finding ways to cheese the game, and they're patching it in front of him.
He's not fighting the game, he's fighting the devs, and I like that. Especially as a guy who plays games, like he plays them because they're bad usually. So this is a god tier game still,
Mm-hmm.
and they're still patching it because he's a freak of nature who keeps breaking their game. Although there's some big fight scenes coming, I believe, in Shangri La. From, if I remember, the people were talking about the book. So the tournament fights are supposed to be really good.
Ooh, looking forward to that for sure.
And they've only got 5 days to complete against the big bad in Shangri La Frontier as well.
Season 2 has been pretty long too. I hope they don't leave us on too much cliffhanger.
Oh, we're talking cliffhanger. Oh, it's so going to be a cliffhanger. We all know it's coming. We all, that bunny is dead, hun.
No, no, no.
All right, so yeah, that's the 2 we've mainly been watching. We have fallen off of a couple we need to catch up on, obviously. Red Ranger.
Oh yeah.
We need to catch up on that.
We've been watching. It's so hard to go from like S tier down to like just low effort B tier. Like, let's be honest, it's not the greatest show. I still have fun watching it, but after watching Solo Leveling, and nothing pales in it. Just everything pales in comparison.
I would like to know how other people watch. Like, I mean, obviously we watch anime. Like we try and watch it like every week. We try and catch up and watch some shows because obviously work and life gets in the way. But as a kid, I remember I used to try and watch everything that came out, good or bad. And as I've got older, I've just realized you can't do that. It's just, no, especially in today's age. You just,
There's so much more content now.
So many. My brain just can't do it. And I feel like I've become a bit more jaded because I'm like, this is just, get this out of my way. What is this? If it starts to like touch subjects where you're like, that's a bit too not acceptable now, not as in offensive, but more like, I don't like that subject, you know, or they're going really hard on the angst and emo. Like, you know, the Shadow one we watched.
Eminence and Shadow. Like,
that was funny angst. Like, he was playing a character, and he knew he was playing the character, and he's building a world around it, but he wasn't. It's not like Failure Frame 1 where I'm like, this is so bad.
Or it's trying too hard and taking itself way too seriously. Yeah.
But the books, people love those. That was a really looked forward to anime, and it just fell.
It was terrible.
And you still
so
watched
bad.
it.
Yeah. I was watching a train wreck. I was having a great time. And I was dragging you through the mud with me.
Oh my god! It's bad when I'm like not even paying attention anymore. I'm just waiting for your reaction, and I'll slowly turn my head and go, "Okay, yeah, that's happened again." oh, that character's also a bit R-word. Yeah, of course they are.
Uh-huh. Oh my goodness.
Forced love in anime is getting a little bit annoying lately.
Well, moving on, what is it you're looking forward to next coming up? I know we've got some
Ooh.
shows we want to dive into as soon as they come out.
Yes, there's two obviously. One I'm specifically looking forward to is One Punch Man season 3. I know a lot of people kind of hated on season 2 because it changed the style and all that.
It was a different studio.
I'm more interested in the story at this point. Like they got me in. I want to see how he goes from here with the monsters attacking and the hero society. Like, and now everyone's starting to know him. Like it's kind of
Mhm.
like solo leveling. Like now people can see what he can do.
Mhm.
What happens?
I love the world reacting to a strong character, so I am looking forward to season 3 as well.
Mhm.
It's going to be so much fun.
And then there's two shows we're probably going to watch. One to check out, but one I think Tim from Game Club is going to make us watch this for a crossover because Guilty Gear Strive Dual Rulers is coming out in April, I believe. First episode releases. It's made by the people who made the game.
Really?
Yep. Arc Systems, I believe. I can't remember completely. Tim probably kill me if I get that wrong. But they've worked heavily on the anime with the people who made it. So it's not only going to be, it's not like that Tekken one we watched.
Triangles.
Yeah, like I've seen some of the animation. It kind of looks like the cutscenes from the game, and they just made it into a series. So a bit 3D animation, obviously, because it's like kind of like stylized fighting animations. I don't know if you've seen Guilty Gear before the game.
Mm.
It's kind of anime style already. So I think it's going to look pretty good. I mean, from what I know about the Guilty Gear like universe, fucking batshit. Like story's going to be insane.
Oh my goodness.
And another one, obviously, I think you might like this. I've seen it talked about. I don't know if you've talked about it. It's called Lazarus.
I haven't heard anything about it yet.
All right, so I'll give you a kind of basic plot first. Utopian year 2052. Dr. Skinner, which, for love of God, why Skinner? All I can think of Simpsons, has discovered a miracle drug known as Hapna. He announced the drug has a 3-year half-life, and soon everyone who took it is going to die. A task force is assembled to locate Skinner and create a vaccine, and its name is Lazarus. This was created by the man who did Cowboy Bebop and Macross Plus.
Oh, fun.
So this is his new show, and I'll send a picture to you into the chat so you can see the artwork, and already you can see. Yeah, Studio Mappa as well.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that picture and tell me you don't just feel Cowboy Bebop vibes.
That is so Bebop. Oh my gosh.
Yep, it's I'm gonna butcher this name. Shinchirio Watanabe, I believe. I'll probably forget, but apparently lots of people have this kind of similar name because it says not to be confused with the similarly named Watanabe of Excel Saga, which makes me laugh because that's one of my favorite shows. Yeah, but he's
the director of Cowboy Bebop. Oh, that's fantastic.
Samurai Champloo, Space Dandy. It's his new 2025 show. It's coming out soon.
Oh, that'll be so fun.
Something to look forward to. I thought you'd like this because I know you like Cowboy Bebop.
It's some of the animatrix too. Oh, cool. Yeah, that'll be really fun.
I thought you'd like it. I saw it pop up and I went, all right, something to check out. A kind of a cool looking plot as well. You know, for everyone finding out they've got kind of Black Mirror almost. Like everyone finds out that the drug they've been taking is going to kill them in 3 years. Don't trust miracle drugs.
Nope.
And any you got though? Any you looking forward to?
I actually do want to get into Apothecary Diaries again. I've heard really good things about season 2, and I still need to finish season 1, but I had a lot of fun watching it. It's a really interesting story, so I do want to get back into it for sure.
As everyone says, like, what's it, guilty pleasure animes, people call them, I guess, or guilty pleasure in general. Like, some people watch, like, I suppose One Piece is for me because I've rewatched it so many times. I know it's, and some people hate it.
Just stepping in here real quickly, I kind of ramble for a bit, so we're just going to skip ahead.
I'm just laughing because I'm just questioning how we got here. We were talking about Apothecary Diaries, and you went back on your soapbox about solo leveling. So to rip the conversation back in, Apothecary Diaries, I want to get back into it.
When is that coming out officially? Do you know? Any news?
No, I honestly, it might already be out for all I know. It's just been a little bit since I've watched season 1.
Are you sure you're looking forward to this show?
Honestly, I want to get back into it. That's the only reason I brought it up.
Oh, guilty pleasure. Yeah. Because I don't remember watching that show fully.
Not even a guilty pleasure. It's just a good show.
No, Red Ranger's your guilty pleasure.
Yeah, you're right. It's not great. It's not animated well. The fight scenes are really cheesy, but it makes me laugh, and that's why I love it. I grew up watching Power Rangers.
I if we ever go to Japan, I'm going to look out for merch with that stuff on it, just so I can get you some, because they've got Power Ranger stuff in Japan, but that's everywhere. But to have an animated Power Ranger, yep, there's Sky showing me their shelf of Power Rangers. I can't say anything. I've got a shelf of toys next to me from anime we used to watch. So you've had some guilty pleasure anime there, like Girls and Panzer, and like I've even got some Gundam stuff as well. But I haven't really heard of anything of this season 2 coming out, so I didn't realize it got one.
Yeah, the original series. It's really interesting. I mean, it follows this girl who's basically grew up as an apothecary with her father and is a very learned man, and she's basically kidnapped and sold to the palace, where she's meant to be a slave and like a handmaid. And she ends up being the most educated person there about just poisons and health. And she's actually she moves her way up, we'll say. Yeah, it's a really interesting kind of slice of life, and that like she eventually like is able to speak to her father again, and so like I'm safe. I'm actually living a pretty good life up here, and I'm able to show support and actually help our kingdom thrive.
I would have to check that out.
It's really cool. Yeah. It's an interesting kind of slice of life. Not action. It's very different than what we normally watch, for sure.
It's like a slice of life, girl kidnapped as a slave. But yeah, a slice of life. The classic slice of life we all know.
Different time period.
I suppose that has happened probably in our timeline, yeah.
Here's a short message from our friends at the Game Club Pod.
Welcome to my friendly game club, where everyone is welcome. The podcast where we share, we play, we run and sing. Well, we don't run, but we do sing.
Hey kids, are you looking for a new favourite fortnightly video game review podcast?
Then boy howdy have we got the show for you.
We take a different game every 2 weeks and we review them just like a book club.
You can find us on all good podcasting platforms.
And some of the sketchy ones too.
Simply search for the Game Club podcast and join the club today. Head to head.
In the Red Corner, released in 2012 with 22 episodes following detectives in an AI utopia, it's Psycho-Pass.
And in the Blue Corner, released in 2002 with 26 episodes, an oldie but a goldie, it's Ghost in the Shell, standalone complex. Welcome to Head, where our hosts pitch two personal picks against each other to see which is better. This episode, we are pitting crime shows against each other. Psycho-Passes against Ghost in the Shell. Which will win? Who will be crowned victor? And who will suffer this week's loss? I think it's going to be you, Skylar.
It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be tough, honestly. I downloaded this and had it on my Plex, and I honestly, the sound design watching it on my TV was hard to miss. It was mixed in 5.1 audio. I heard police sirens behind me, and I was confused.
And that's Ghost in the Shell, not Psycho-Pass.
Yeah.
So, oddly, bringing this one up, I know people are probably thinking, crime shows? That's an odd pick. Because I would say this is more futuristic crime. We've both randomly happened to pick.
Yeah. It's cyberpunk, kind of futuristic, kind of detective show. Yeah. So let's get started then. So, how do you feel about the story of Psycho-Pass? What are your thoughts?
Your basic plot line. Do you want to go through it real quick? Just like the very
Sure.
basic. Say like episode 1, just so people know.
Yeah, I mean, episode 1, it starts off, it follows the main character, Akane, I believe is how her name is pronounced. And her a recent initiation into what's effectively the crimes division of their version of police. They team up with, and I'm probably going to get this wrong because I don't have my notes in front of me. Where did I put those? Enforcers, right? People who have been accused of pre-crime, basically, but work with the police force because to analyze criminals, sometimes you have to think like one, and sometimes when you think like a criminal, you dive a little too deep into the abyss. So it follows Akane and her, I guess, just foray into being a detective working with these enforcers. And it's revealed that AI basically rules everything, all of the decision making. So you don't have to think about it. The gun will shoot for you if they're deemed a criminal.
Which just bring into like, where does a AI question morality and guilt? How does a computer measure guilt? And when I watched your show, I was like, how does the gun know? And all these scanners, which in the show shows you, and your story as it goes through these episodes, they can be fooled.
The moral quandary of letting a machine think for you.
And your society seems to be very driven through AI, like the clothes they wear, and it's almost horrendous how they kind of live, because you could live in a terrible room that's just a chair, blank walls, a bed, nothing. But then they use the AI technology to make it look like a fantastical place.
Yeah, the use of holograms in this is so fun.
It's fun, but kind of sad in a way, because
But why? You can customize it to be exactly what you want it to be.
Yeah, but it's microtransactions for your life. That's all it is.
You don't have to buy it. You could just change it to whatever you want. You don't have to buy it. You want a new set of clothes? You just change your clothes.
The way your money works in that society, like everyone pays, like there's no cash that I could see. It was all like credits almost. And your enforcers, who are criminals, technically criminals who can't leave the building they're in. It's a prison, and they can only leave with another enforcer who's a good enforcer who's not bad.
No. They can only leave with the police. So if somebody's registered as a police person, then they can leave. Enforcers cannot leave on their own.
Are they enforcers or dogs? I remember they kept calling them dogs as well. Like
it was a metaphor. They're calling them dogs because they have to be on a leash all of the time.
Got you. I was a little confused. I didn't know if that was like a slang name for them or something.
Almost, yeah.
But
almost a slur.
They can't leave the building, so they spend all their money in whatever form that is on like random crap for their like tiny, like if you look like that kind of kooky one, his desk is covered in toys and stuff, and you're like, obviously they can't spend their money on other stuff because all the stuff they get given is from the government. Like they get their clothes, the weapons, and how the weapons are very Judge Dredd.
Oh yeah,
they're locked to their DNA and you can't use them and stuff.
Right. You can assign an enforcer to be able to use it. You can assign it to be used, but
it won't fire it unless the bad guy's bad.
Right.
Which kind of sounds good, but at the same time,
if they're bad enough, they'll kill the person. If they're only within a certain threshold, they'll only stun them. So if they're deemed, what's the word? If they're deemed as irredeemable.
Yeah, that reconditioning won't work, and which I wonder what, because we only watched 12 episodes of each, so I'm sure your plot continues to explain like what reconditioning is, and I'm guessing here because I haven't seen it, but I'm guessing the system is flawed from what I've got from the first 12 episodes.
Well, especially from the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, he said. So I'm guessing there's a big flaw,
or at least just the main villain can bypass.
Yeah,
which will be a flaw, because that would be like the entire society relies on this AI to make all of the decisions for them, and if the AI is wrong, then society is wrong.
Your the plot itself. So how would you explain? So it's if a young girl, new, joins police force with
recent graduate
with kind of like a mixed cast of bad guys who are like the Punisher almost, if you would like to bring it down to like a morality level. And they're basically just, I mean, a lot of the people they kill, actually kill, seem to be pretty bad guys. Like people who've gone over the edge and have murdered people or gone offered it. And the other ones, they just trank with a dart. But then some of the people who seem to be like that one episode, which I feel like stole from one of my episodes. I think you know which one I mean. The robot factory one.
Oh, yeah.
Like the big tank. Like he stole that episode. The guy was bullied and was hired to be bullied.
Kind of. But the main villain gave him the main villain gave him the tools to act out.
Yeah, but that's my point. But his job basically was to be a bullied guy. Obviously, the police don't like this. They even say, like, you literally do this on purpose. So because your staff are treated like shit, they work on an assembly line for like 15, 20 hours a day.
And they have to be disconnected from the main network.
They can't leave. They live in this hellhole. They needed someone to bully and beat up and treat like crap. And then those people usually end up transferring or dying or ending up in reconditioning by the police because their emotional levels are too high.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, this system is fucked. Like, I watched that episode. I was like, this is weird. Because how is this a society that's evolved? You know, it's supposed to be a utopian society, but people are going left and right, and there's slums everywhere.
Yeah.
And people are like living this weird line of what you consider good and bad. And some of your establishing shots of the buildings seems to be built on a flooded city. There's old ruins underneath these buildings, and it's all water under them. Was there an explosion and something, or did they find Atlantis and build on it? They've said nothing in 12 episodes of what happened. And this is futuristic, but they've explained nothing about the old world.
It leaves more of a contrast between high society and lower society, like actually showing that what is supposed to be a utopia is built on ruins.
It's built on lies.
Built on lies. Yeah. So what's supposed to be a utopia and what everyone believes in is in fact not a utopia. It's got a lot of what's the word? Not subliminal messaging, but more just like underlying messaging.
Subtext.
Yeah, subtext that just allows, like, it adds more intrigue. It builds the world, and I really enjoy that personally. But as far as the story progression, I did like in my show as well. The characters seemed to grow a lot quicker over the course of the story. Whereas in your show, and we can start introducing Ghost in the Shell here. Whereas in your show, your characters seem pretty well established when we get started watching the show.
Yeah. The way I would explain how Ghost in the Shell introduces you, you're not starting out like a newbie. You're just thrown into this show. Like, it's already, instead of building the characters and learning about them through the eyes of a newbie, you're watching this show midway through a series. They explain it through backstory telling,
which does take a while. I've only found that in the last 3 episodes that we've watched, again, only watching the first 12 episodes, we're finally starting to get some backstory on the characters.
But what I like about the way they do this is by the time they get to the backstory telling, like little snippets, they don't give you everything, because it is supposed to be, these are people who have got lives and they work in crime in Section 9. So I'll do the plot real quick and go back to my point. So this Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, not to be confused with the film Ghost in the Shell, because obviously they are the same, but they are different, like different stories. This series takes place in the year 2030, which ironically we're nowhere near the technology of 2030 in this world.
No.
Where people are becoming like cyborgs, they've got prosthetic bodies, their brains are connected to the net, they've replaced their full body transformations. The internet is insanely, like, everyone's connected through nets, and like people are walking tanks. Some people, I love the way they built the world out in this, when it comes to, like, especially the establishing shots of how it's Japan but not. I like the little hints. But Section 9 is a task force made up of former military officers and police detectives. So it's a very specifically, like, people don't know Section 9 exists unless you're in the government and stuff. It's like a hidden government program that does everything. They investigate anything they're given. So that can be from the public to, like, internal affairs to military contractors. They are the people who get called, kind of like your enforcers, who like investigate the people who wouldn't usually get investigated. And that's the reason they have to hire from like military and stuff, because they need different skill sets. They are very well equipped by the government. Like they can turn invisible, like with stealth technology, and they have walking tanks as allies. Like,
and can communicate with each other telepathically.
Yeah, well, that's it. No, that's it's just communication
like
devices in the head.
Oh, right, because they're cyborgs, right?
The first season that we watch is the standalone complex. Is mainly focuses on the Laughing Man incident, which is the storyline for that. It's a hacktivist who reveals that they've discovered like several micro machine companies are like corrupt and stuff, and have been using their things to like
corporate blackmail, I think is what it was referred to as.
Well, they're like affecting people's lives to profit. So he's been live hacking people, which to live hack is like you have to be an expert. Like you like over people's eyes and TV live feeds, he's hacking them, which is like he's supposed to be an expert hacker, and it's about him and his story, but it's told through multiple stories, like multiple plots. So that's why I love the backstory telling, because these people are already like characterized people. So like the Major, Butto, they are their characters already. They have their mannerisms and their thoughts, and you don't know them yet and the way they act like they do. So you want to know more. And when they start releasing these little bits of like backstory, you start to understand the way they are. And the way they release subtext, though, like the little bits you learn about the Major through watching her, even if you don't know it yet, when you finish the series and you'll realize, oh, I missed that. But that's why I'm telling you to look out for, because this show was critically acclaimed when it got released. People said like the sound direction, the music, the art style. I mean, obviously it's of its time. Like now people are like, what's this? You call this good animation? 2002 animation.
Yeah, like the beginning beginning like intro sequence of the show is in very 2002 CGI.
Oh my lord.
So it's dated.
It's dated. But the show itself, like the plot and story is really well integrated. It's got loads of mini little things that relate to the stories. And there's actually tiny little story plots happening in the background that turn into full episodes later on. The last one you watched, you even said, is this like a weird filler episode? But by the end of the episode, you find out what happened because it's all because of some oil that the Butto gave the Tachikoma, which he shouldn't have given them, and it changed the way that AI worked, and a whole episode happened because of it. But did you notice the little girl who was following the robot in the background was the Major in a different shell? That was the Major literally following. That's why she knew it had the brain and was watching it. She's been watching it all this time. These little things you don't notice until you've seen the show, and there's other little things as well, like the Laughing Man thing slowly being dripped through. Like I'm sure you noticed in the episode 11, the police officer shot the cyborg that was attacking him. When the Major ran in, did you notice it was a statue?
Yeah.
Why was it a statue? He was being live hacked by the Laughing Man himself. He believed he was being attacked. There was no blood on the carpet when he got knocked out, but there was when he was knocked out. But when the Major came in, there was no blood on the carpet. You see, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And this is episode 12. It gets crazier from here. Like,
nice. Yeah. I will say, the Ghost in the Shell and Psycho-Pass both kind of have like a Monster of the Week kind of feel to their episodes, but with an overarching storyline as well.
Yeah. It reminds me of the Mentalist show. You ever seen that? Where it's like the big bad guy he's still out there. It's like every detective show. They have a big bad they're hunting for, but it's a weekly story. Hell, fucking Star Trek will do that. It's how you tell.
It's Supernatural.
A story. Yeah, Supernatural. It's exactly how you do it.
Monster of the Week. Yeah.
I love that storytelling though.
They've got very similar storytelling mechanisms, and there are even cyborgs in Psycho-Pass. There's a whole arc about a CEO who has replaced every part of his body with cybernetics.
And the irony in Ghost in the Shell, the exact same. A CEO who's replaced his entire body with an android. These things happen.
Yeah, I would say though, it's hard to compare for me to say that one is better than another as far as a story.
Watching yours, because obviously it's a later anime. It came out
Hmm.
way more recent than this one. I think it's 10 years, a decade between these.
Yeah,
I still think they're both good in their own way. I think this one has to be a draw. There's no way they're different enough to both be good.
I agree. Yeah, they're both like the way that the stories are told are different, but they're different stories. And again, like Akane, the way that she's introduced, she's kind of in a stand-in for the viewer in the fact that yeah, the story can be kind of heavy-handed and handed to the viewer, which I would say might take a little bit away from my show, but it's still well done.
No, yeah,
I think
I was a bit annoyed sometimes, but I was like, let the viewer figure things out for themselves. But
Mhm.
it doesn't have that thing with Ghost in the Shell where sometimes you're like, God, I just needed some more information. You're not giving me enough. Like,
Right.
just can you explain? Like you were confused with what a ghost meant.
They keep referring to it, but they've never really like actually had like a sit-down explanation of what it is, which sometimes is nice, but sometimes anime just over-explains things too.
Seeing the Reddit though, and like
Mm.
people talking, I think people have been arguing about what the ghost means about Ghost from Ghost in the Shell for a long time. Because Ghost in the Machine, obviously that whole meaning, like, what does it mean? Obviously, like it's from. I mean, it's been in books, plays, philosophy. Like, what does a soul mean? How would you explain a soul? Like, but is it a soul, or is it a subconscious, or is it? There's so many things it could be, and this is why people are still arguing to this day about what Ghost in the Machine. The only people who know are the people who wrote it, and I swear they're not telling anyone. Your microphone just grew ahead. That was weird.
That's just Robin scooting a little bit.
Your dog just appeared out of, like, but it was hidden behind your microphone. It just grew ahead. That was so weird. Sorry, we're getting a bit off topic.
She's just scooting. But yeah, no, I agree. Story and plot for both of these is about on par. So let's move forward to emotional response. Honestly, I personally feel that because my main character Akane is very new, that you are also growing as the character Akane does through the
Mhm.
series, and and her eyes are being opened to the horrors that actually exist in the world because she was a straight A student. She's going into this whole division naive. Like she does not know how the world operates
Which
because
seems
she's
odd
just
to me,
been
though.
part of society.
How can she be so naive and not know where she's going without any information?
Well, the thing is though,
How do you
and
get
part
that job?
as part of the world, your hand is held your entire life. You are told how to think and how to feel and how to live,
It's almost like an ant colony at this point.
basically.
Mm.
And the queen is the AI, and it's telling you exactly what needs to be done at any given moment. It's even taking away the responsibility of pulling a trigger.
So how would this work for your emotional, like, because how do you feel connected to a character that's been told not to think for themselves?
You are learning to think, and you are reacting as she is. You're figuring out how horrifying the world can actually be through her eyes.
Yes, I feel like she's a bit too, because no one is that dumb. Even if an AI did control the world, you're telling me people have got to be that immature going into an office where these guns exist. It's not like they don't tell you this. They know the system exists. They know what
Right.
happens to people. So she knows this happens. She can't be that blind.
But the way that police introduce themselves to other members of society are through holograms of very cutesy types of characters.
Yeah,
because
what was with that?
everyone is babied from the time that they are born till the time that they die.
Well, no wonder they're freaking out and going killing each other. Because if to be honest, if a chibi Olympic bloody mascot character came to me after my partner had been run over, I'd lose my goddamn mind.
Right.
Like, this show seems a little bit. I don't know what it is about a world that's been babied. I just feel like it would never get there without a lot of people dying. Now, considering the world,
There is some backstory to be revealed as to how the world got to where it got.
I feel like there was a war.
Oh, for
There's
sure.
always a war.
The initial integration of the AI didn't go over well either.
Of course.
And that's why there's rebel groups. That's why
Mm.
there's like
Resistance
this only
cells, yeah.
this exists inside this particular city.
So it's
And
supposed
there
to be
might be other
utopian,
cities
yeah.
like it, or there might be other societies outside of it that just aren't allowed in because they're not part of the same system. Like
Just feel like
it-
very Red Dead, not Red Dead, Judge Dredd, like cyber
Mhm.
cities, like mega city blocks. Although
Yep,
that one
but-
was way more dystopian.
But the emotional hits, and again, we're getting into spoilers here. The emotional hits of Akane having to defend her friend and being unable to because she cannot pull a trigger of a physical, like an actual gun, and watching her
Yeah.
friend die in front of her.
Again, though, she couldn't
being
use the
helpless
gun.
to it. Right.
She still could have done something. She's still a police officer who's trained in hand-to-hand combat.
But to have the emotional weight of pulling a trigger herself. Whereas it's always been the AI to make the decision for her. She actually had to have the emotional weight of a decision placed on her shoulders.
Yeah, I forgot he threw the shotgun, didn't he? Because the gun wouldn't work and she just couldn't do it. Again, a
Right.
shotgun of that range would have killed her friend.
I think it was just a rifle. I don't think it was an actual shotgun.
Yeah, I don't think
Just-
she would have hit him. Like like she's never used a gun that hasn't got self-aim.
Right.
Like you point, but the gun basically chooses where that shot goes.
Mhm.
And to be honest, those kill shots, it doesn't matter where you hit. It seems to like inflate your body and explode you. It's a little weird the way the way your guns work are a little weird. But no, I suppose I suppose the difference between your show and Gits, which is how people say goes to the show. By the way, I'm not just saying it's called Gits.
No, that's literally how I wrote it in my notes. Actually,
it's called Gits Sack. Yeah, Gits. It is literally called Gits. Because you're watching a character and you're with the character growing and learning these lessons.
Mhm.
Your emotional response will be more heavy hitting, I guess.
Mhm.
Whilst the way Gits shows you emotion is usually from I'd say outbursts of anger that you don't see, because these are supposed to be professional like workers, and when they like show emotion, everyone goes, "Whoa, you're not acting right. What's going on?" Like,
and it's part of their
especially-
backstory.
yeah, and then you realize like, the Bato one with the supposed to be the Vietnam War, but obviously it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Because they changed things, but like learning what happened to him during that war and what he found the CIA were doing, and that's why he's so mad.
Project Sunset, yeah.
Yeah,
He
Project
just
Sunset,
stumbled upon it, yeah.
which is actually taken from in real life world like accounts of war.
Mhm.
Like people used to do this thing in war. It's like secret cells of like black sites doing stuff like this. And that's
Mhm.
how they got the idea for the show. And when you read that, you're like, oh god, that would mess something up. But when you watch like the major, like the latest episode, you thought it was a random fan. Just why is this Tachikoma running around? But when she goes into the box, the movie screening,
Mhm.
and there's hundreds of people in there, they are all real people who have died.
And they weren't hacked, they weren't lured, they weren't trapped. They just wanted to escape reality because
Yeah.
the reality of that film was better than what they had left behind.
Mm-hmm. Which hits on a different level.
Mhm.
That's like they committed real life suicide to leave their virtual brain, if you know what some people call a ghost or a soul or whatever you call it, to stay trapped in this box. They can't return to their bodies.
Yeah.
They can't return to their life. If they were human bodies, they're dead. They could probably one day return to a shell, but most of them are locked in. Mine are more emotional beats.
Yeah, and more moral quandaries than emotional
Yeah, they're not building
drawing emotions.
like they're work colleagues, and some of them would consider each other friends. But I think yours is more love relationship triangle type because you're watching one character from their point of view.
And having their
Them.
whole worldview change.
Yeah, and we're watching more of a show kind of thing. Like you're learning each character and
Right.
their line in the sand kind of thing.
Right.
Each are different in their way, but I do believe yours has a more. It's trying to pull at your strings more because they want you to feel for that character. Whilst my one's saying this is why that character is the way they are,
Right.
which is less emotional. It's more explanational. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll definitely take the loss on that one because mine is not built to be. You're not supposed to feel like, oh, Bato suffered during the war. You go, well, Bato really should kill that guy. That's what you're supposed to feel.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. So with
Uh,
that being said, just moving on to the next section for characters. This one's gonna be tough, honestly.
I don't think so. I think I win.
You do have some excellent characters.
I don't just have characters. I have walking tanks that have their own like characters.
I feel like they're more. I honestly feel like the Tachikomas are more just like a comedic
Tachikomas
relief.
are great. They are funny. They're clever. They get killed and they stay alive because they're AI. But that's the best thing about them, because you haven't seen the whole show yet. It pays off because you don't realize that you're also starting to like them as characters, and you can write them off. But later on in the shows, you're like, oh no! Like the latest episode, you don't realize what they were telling you with the oil was basically saying the Tachikoma started to get a ghost. It was thinking, when it interacted with the box, and it went, oh, it's a ghost. The only way the AI can recognize that is if it has its own ghost. The AI would have just said, oh, that's nothing, because everyone else who interacted with it got sucked in. But the Tachikoma didn't. They're saying, oh no, it's an AI. But we're saying, but how would it recognize a ghost if it doesn't have one? That's why it's these weird kind of things. And that's just the robots, the comedy relief robots. That's the level they're going into.
Well, that's fair. You do have a lot of like backstory when Akane joins into the police force. You find out later through the first 12 episodes that her counterpart, one of the people who is just always befuddling her with the way that he thinks, Kogami, I believe is his name.
Oh, that's the older enforcer guy.
Not the older one, but it's who used to be Gojima's sidekick. He gave in because he became he became an enforcer after he was initially a detective, because he had to stoop to the level of the criminals in order to think like a criminal. He ended up becoming one after becoming really obsessed with a particular case.
Do you ever notice that some like each show has their own characters in their little box? If that makes sense. Like, your main character is the newbie klutz who's got to learn everything. She's got a partner who was an ex detective who's got a troubled past. There's the old gruff guy who's teaching him things whilst he might have a hidden agenda kind of thing. You've got the goofy character who's actually surprisingly, evil in his way. And then you've got the really like smart lady, woman, but you find out she was just a troubled teen and she's become the way she is because of her life in the past. And these are all like, they look exactly how they're supposed to be. I know I don't like they are bookmarked of who they are, and their stories make sense to who they are. And they tell you their story really quick. They just feed at you like a baby getting fed food. It's like, here you go, here, nom 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 nom. Yep, sad character backstory. Eat. Don't learn. You don't need to know anything more. That's everything they are. They will not grow much other than your main character changing the way they feel about things.
No, actually, the characters do end up changing later on, like Inspector Ganoza.
Yeah, but is it through her?
No. This is through their own experiences. Like, these characters do have their own lives and experiences outside of her, of course, but they do change. Like Ganoza, actually, and I kind of want to spoil this for you, because it actually does have some growth later, and he changes like as a person. So there's
is that the detective or the
that's
the other guy?
that's her counterpart, not the enforcer. He's the other detective who
the weird long emo hair type guy
Kogami's,
who yells at her a lot.
Who used to have Kogami as a partner.
Yeah, I know who you mean. The guy who wears the suit and yells a lot.
Yeah, because he cares. He does not want Akame to also become an enforcer like his previous partner. So
it doesn't seem odd though that that's the system. Like, the detectives, in a way, unless they are emotionally dead inside, will always end up being enforcers. Like, it's a natural thing because they're seeing the worst of society.
Yay, it's a flawed system. That's the whole story.
I know, but like, it just seems like there's no.
It's the realization that the system is actually flawed, even though they hold on to it so tightly, and that's how their that's how their entirety that's the entirety of their. Sorry, I'm getting emotional here. Their entire society is built upon this AI.
No wonder you run the emotional response.
Their entire society is built upon this system, and they start realizing that the system is broken.
I'm not even in the system, and I can tell you it's broken.
They were born in.
How did How is no one? Yeah, but she's supposed to be super smart. She could have gone anywhere, and she didn't work out the system was broken. Like, of course, your emotional response is going to be high when you're a detective in this thing. You're killing people who have killed people who don't usually happen in society. Of course, that's going to mess you up a bit. One thing I noticed as well is the guns don't have an override feature. That's crazy to me.
How the system was built. There's so much trust in the system. There's no possible way.
Yeah. No, I understand
Yeah.
what you mean. I understand. It just seems hindsight 2020 kind of thing. I'm like, it just seems crazy that their society has managed to get this way. Whilst Ghost in the Shell, like, it's not a perfect society in any way or form. It's the troubles of today exist, and if anything, got worse.
I'm gonna make this one both a tie for characters so we can move on, because I think we could
Because
continue to argue
I
this.
didn't even get into my characters though. We got the Major, who we have learned nothing about yet, and when you do, you're like, oh my god.
Well, through the first 12 episodes, you do learn that she had full body prosthetics at the age of 6.
And that's the the Major you're seeing right now in that body. Think about it. She had to control those cyborg things when she was 6. So that's full body. Her brain was taken out. And now that you've seen that child robot you saw, and that they can swap, like you heard it from Bato, they can swap chassis.
Or shells.
So, you can be a man, woman, you can be a tank. And actually, that emotional response in that episode with the tank, I didn't even get to go over it. I forgot about it. When the tank's reaching out for his mom. Like, and you're like, oh god, that's so sad. Like, he wasn't even in the end gonna kill her. He went to, they look at me, I'm finally alive because of their religion. It's like, god damn. Like, but I still think, like, one thing that makes me laugh, I completely forgot about it. You know, the chief, the little old dude who tells them where to go. He's got the hair from Tekken.
Oh my god, the spiky hair.
I didn't realize that.
The
Until now. I
goatee.
forgot completely. Oh my god. Oh, that's gonna be. Maybe he's part of their group. Who knows? Oh, now I don't know how we're gonna argue animation, because yours is newer,
Right.
and has some pretty cool animation. A bit of CGI, obviously, with the.
It's very tactfully used, I think. Like, it's just used on vehicles and buildings, but it's pretty tactful, honestly. Like, it's not.
And a bit of the robots as well, like the chibi robots are a bit CGI, and the AI worlds they live in. We didn't touch that as well. Like, you go into
it's like their VR.
a weird, like, VR chat world.
Yeah,
Like,
which to me was more realistic because they weren't wearing humanoid avatars.
yeah, but again, yours was made in
2012.
2012, when people probably were like starting to use, like, people were starting to use pictures and stuff. In 2002, I don't think they even thought about people being able to change, which is ironically because they live in a world of being able to change your shell. So don't forget, none of them. She isn't even who she is in AI. That is a false thing she's wearing. You don't know if they look like that in the real life.
Right, but it's still, they use humanoid avatars online.
Yeah, but I mean, they could be women, they could be AI. You don't know. That's the thing. You assume they are because that's what they're wearing, and maybe that's what they're doing to subvert you. But the animation itself, let's start from both. Like, the intros, simple. My intro is abomination.
It was of its time.
Of its time, it was. I remember watching that when I had the DVDs of this. I remember watching that intro and going, "That's really cool." I watch it now and go, "Oh god, it's like an anime music video from like 2000."
Oh yeah,
it's
the music of the intro and Ghost in the Shell standalone complex is iconic, though.
Oh,
that just brought up so much nostalgia just immediately when I first listened to it. I was like, "Oh god, yeah." That's why I've gone ahead and given you the music category.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah,
you're predetermining.
Oh yeah,
categories.
no, there's no way I'm going to argue against that. Just the intro alone.
But then your intro, I would say standard anime intro of like 2012s.
Yeah, it doesn't stand out.
Hits and beats story, not massive, but you know, it's still good. Animation solid. You know, credits. It's standard intro.
Right.
The animation styles, though, kind of similar. Yours is a lot more,
I think,
noir, dark noir. Like, it's dark cities, and like, because they go from these, like, when it's in the city of her life, like in her room, and when her friends, it's very lit city. Everything's like bright and colorful, and she's enjoying life. But as soon as she starts to go into the criminal like world, it's dark and dank, and the color scheme is very dark, and it goes everything's kind of like in shadow. I kind of like those story beats because you want that in animation, and it's good animation. It's clean animation. The CGI is well used, as we've talked about.
Yeah.
Any more points for your one? I mean, I liked it.
Yeah.
Nothing bad I found.
I mean, I would say that yours as well. Like it uses CGI in interesting ways. Like I'm pretty sure some vehicles and the way that reflections are made off of cars is likely
They
CGI.
are, yeah.
The Tachicomas now and again seem to have some CGI, at least
When it was made,
inspiration.
2002. I mean, a lot of it was probably like you know though when you see it, you know, like the tank, some of the tank stuff.
Yeah,
But
and-
remember the intro CGI
Yeah.
to the anime CGI.
Yeah.
That's the level of CGI they were using.
Right. So I would say though, like when I'm looking at animation, I also look at mouth movements, and I look at like
Oh
like-
yeah, I'm not winning that.
so
one.
rather than like side mouth, you know, like there's some portions where you see that they've cut back a little bit on Ghost in the Shell, but honestly, I think it could go either way with this one as well. I kind of want to go with a tie on this one just because Ghost in the Shell is of its time, but they do both not like they don't really have the side mouth syndrome. They both have really well choreographed fight scenes.
Oh yeah.
In the
I loved your maze one with the oh my god, it's Repo. It's the blind man with the shotgun walking around.
except he's not blind and he's got two robot dogs.
I know, but I'm just like, wow, we just played that in Repo. It's literally what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the animation on that when he's shooting the wall and the two dogs attacking.
Mm-hmm.
Like how they the big bad guy was actually putting like bits on it, and the animation of like the fight when the dog's trying to go through the door. Like the crumple on the door matched the dog's head, which they didn't need to do that. I like that kind of like small little sign design. But one thing I will say about Gits, the animation when they go invisible whilst mid running, and the sound design on that, impeccable.
Oh yeah.
Like
I will not take any points for sound design. Honestly, I know that Ghost in the Shell is just phenomenally mixed. The music is fantastic, but also even just the little things like the ambience of the city in general when they're just having conversations. You can hear the sounds of police sirens just existing. To me, that definitely puts you above and beyond mine.
I actually believe the sound design, like the music you're talking about, was actually really well received. Like people like that. I think the music was by Yoko Kanno. Apparently, like that was it was like when it was released, people were like, "This was really good."
Yeah.
Like there was like I remember people talking about it at the time.
There's also just the use of music in the show as well. Like I think for my show, there wasn't any sort of music that wasn't aside from ambience that really stood out to me. So I'll give you that one.
Yeah, we had little clips, didn't we, of like bands playing with music, and it's kind of weird. Like Ghost in the Shell seems to be more, you see more of the world. Like whilst yours is more self-contained to the group in the world.
Well, there was
like you see parts of the world, but you don't see other stuff happening unless they're there.
Right.
Whilst we're getting clips of other things happening without our characters there, unless they're watching from very far away.
Right.
But we get to see more like little clips here and there of things going on, like planes, like TVs talking about wars and stuff, and like you can see it and actually hear it and understand what's going on. It's like, does it matter to the plot? Maybe, because they keep sprinkling goddamn breadcrumbs through the damn theories you have to look out for.
Yeah, the Psychopaths did have, I think the last episode that we watched, episode 12, actually had it was a flashback episode that had some backstory for the character. Have it written down.
Holy hell.
Yayoi.
Yoko Kanno soundtrack themes include Lodless War, Macross Plus, Cowboy Bebop,
I can't.
Wolf's Rain, Turner Gundam, Ghost in the Shell, Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. She did Tank from Cowboy Bebop.
There's no way I'm winning on music. I was just going to
No,
say
I'm just saying I
that
didn't
there
realize.
is some music in mine in that last episode that was a flashback. Remember the band that was playing in the underground?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
Like I said, it's forgettable. It's there. There is
Yeah,
music.
but it's not good.
But
It's
the
not
person who
good, but it's
wrote
forgettable.
Tank is going to take this one for sure.
I did not know she'd done that one. I wonder if they sound similar. I'd like to hear her like full catalog and see if they like take inspiration from other ones. What about your? Did you watch it in sub or dub?
I watched mine in sub. I watched yours in dub.
I did the exact same. I tried watching yours in dub, couldn't do it.
Mm.
Because I will say one thing we probably should mention. Sometimes for speed, we watch it in English because we can digest it faster, and maybe we can pay more attention to the animation, the story going on, because you're not trying to also translate the words whilst reading. Because sometimes reading does take it out, even if you're good at it. Sometimes you miss things, or the things they say doesn't match the words, because some people's translations don't always mix.
Now, do you like the dub on yours more because of nostalgia?
Yeah, the dub for me, I had to watch it in the dub because I remember watching this in the dub when I was a kid, and their voices still to this day. I'm like, I know that voice now, like from other anime. It's kind of cool to go. Did they all get their careers from this? But then yours, the dub, it was okay, but the sub seemed to hit harder on yours. Mine was good. I just had to sit to in dub. I do like how the characters in the dub though work for my characters. Like Bato sounds like he should be. The major sounds authoritative. The chief sounds like a grizzled chief, and the young police detective sounds naive sometimes. Like even the side characters, the Tachikomas, are like silly little voices. Like they really nailed it. Your underdub was a little bit more like who they could get. Like, I don't want to be mean. It did. I'm sure they did a good job. It wasn't great.
I mean, again, it's hard to compare because we didn't watch both of them twice.
I did switch a couple of times, especially for like the ghost bits, like they were talking about the movie. I switched it to Japanese, then back to dub for mine because I wanted to see if it was different. But they basically say the same thing. I was like, okay, it's just because I don't want to miss anything in the translation there.
Yeah, but I will say, like,
especially the laughing man.
Yeah, the voice acting on mine, like the sounds of desperation and calculated thinking during the maze scenes. I think, like I was drawn in emotionally to those scenes just because I was worrying about those characters, and there's a lot more that happens as the series continues. And I think you're really going to enjoy us watching through this after this, because I do want to continue watching it now that we've started.
Yeah. I want to watch both. I think they're both good. Like it's been a long time since I watched Ghost in the Shell. And I still remember bits of it. I didn't realize I did. I was like, I remember that. I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. It's kind of cool to rewatch old shows, I think. Like, especially like after Solo Leveling, it kind of makes me want to watch old shows to see if they still stand up to today's animation. I know it sounds crazy, but like I think people don't realize how good they've got. Like, I mean, when Ghost in the Shell came out, that animation, people were like, oh my God. But now, I mean, like we say, we watched Red Ranger and we're like, it's a D. But if you released that in 2002, people are like, "Oh my God, this is the best."
Especially as Power Rangers was culturally relevant.
I think we're very what words I'm looking for? We're just very spoiled, in the animation department. So when people talk like hate on shows and stuff, I'm like, man, if you knew what it was like back in the day, trying to find an anime DVD in England to watch the shows that people are talking about.
I think Failure Frame would have just flopped, and regardless of the timeline it was placed in.
You know what? I don't know. Anything past 2000, it would have been like the biggest thing because people were like, "Oh, good." I mean, the CGI, people were like, but I mean, you remember Claymation? Like, I mean, one thing I've always said, like the original Jurassic Park, the CGI stands up to this day, and I don't know how we've managed to get away from that. I don't know how people have managed to fail when that film managed to nail CGI.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
well,
anyway, unlike us, pacing.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say moving on from the sub and dub voice acting, like I think it's pretty evenly matched on that one. Yeah, pacing, I would say it's kind of interesting, both of them. Because these are so hard to judge, I swear. Like for mine, it's like you're taking a novice detective and you're moving in her timeline of experience in the Force.
Yeah.
So to me, it feels like she's kind of taking in each of these steps.
It's going to take longer.
Yeah. So
it will take longer.
So it's...
Although you're also trying to tell, like you said, the big bad. It's what, episode 11, 12?
Yeah. That's halfway through this.
We started to find out about him.
That's halfway through season 1.
But you had a couple of hints of him through, I think the intro actually kind of hinted at him. The
like Kogami, like the reason that Kogami is now an enforcer is because of that case.
No, yeah, I guessed that
Yeah.
because of the intro, which I feel like the intro kind of gave away too much, really, because like I shouldn't have been able to guess that, especially knowing kind of like how the show is like going to go. But the stuff with the friends in your show, I felt like dragged it down a bit, and you know the online bit, the VR
Oh,
stuff.
that was like just one of the Monster of the Week kind of things. I think it was very,
Yeah.
it was a little out of place, but it was still Monster of the Week flavor of enemy.
Yeah.
It was one of those that
I think maybe it's because it is a new character.
Yeah, but Mikishima, the main, I think that's the name of the big bad, is just giving tools to criminals to actively commit their crimes. Just giving them a little nudge and giving them the tools to do it. And this was one of the obsessive characters, existed as, what was it? He was basically taking over VTubers' jobs because he could do it better than they could.
Was he doing it, or was AI doing it, though? I feel like he built AI to do
Yeah,
it.
I think that was him. He was using like voice changers and stuff. He was...
Oh, okay. I didn't figure that out.
Well, it was that, and I think he did kind of partner with some AI stuff as well, but because when he got home, they're holograms, right? Yeah.
I mean, your pacing, I suppose it just works for the show, so does mine.
Yeah.
I mean, you're thrown in midway, and you are thrown in midway. It's the whole point. You've got to learn as you go. They're not spoon feeding you in this. They're trying to give you information as you go.
Right.
And I do love the Laughing Man, like series. Like the Laughing Man case is one of my favorite, to the point where I actually have that sticker.
Oh, nice.
From when I watched the show back in the day. Like, I've loved that picture for a long time.
Well, as far as pacing though, like the introduction of my big bad as well, and how he's implemented, like he turns the entire concept of the AI system on its head because he can't be judged.
Well, it's the whole point of the Laughing Man, though, as well.
Yeah.
Like, he's using the system that the bad people are using against them. And by him doing that, exposing them. It's kind of similar. Anyway, we've actually got very similar shows, just 10 years apart, to the point where you may be getting lawyers for your show. Again, they stole the tank episode.
No, it's
recognition, though.
Yeah, I would say Ghost in the Shell is probably more recognized than Psycho Pass, just because it's a classic, and
the film,
and the use of the films. Like you've got the Scarlett Johansson version.
Don't you ever mention Scarlett Johansson on this? There's one thing that brings down Ghost in the Shell, and it's that goddamn film. How dare? Can we stop making live actions? Can we stop it? Can we come up with stuff for you? Have you seen the new Lilo and Stitch? I'm not going there. I'm not going there. Just stop it.
Hi there, Editor Pete again. Just cutting myself off because I'm rambling again.
I'm gonna have to cancel your Amazon subscription to soapboxes.
Are you telling me that every live action film lately hasn't been garbage?
No, they're terrible.
Stop it.
I will say Psycho Pass does have several movies. Like it's got a couple OVAs and a movie as well.
Well, you have got a fair few seasons, haven't you, as well? Problem is, I would say Psycho Pass out of the anime world, people don't really know about it. Ghost in the Shell, pretty damn recognized.
Tachikoma is the main intro music, of course. And I would say, too, that because it was released in the time that it was, it gives a nostalgia factor that Psycho Pass doesn't hit.
Oh, yeah. It's also got games. I remember getting a Ghost in the Shell game for the PSP.
You're dating.
People forget about the PlayStation.
You're dating yourself. So let's
dating myself. I watched this when I was a kid.
All right, let's move on.
I say kid. I was probably just a fucking adolescent.
Let's move on to the bonus section here. So we've got.
I win this.
I mean,
she's wearing a thong most of the time.
Basically, yes, you get fan service. Fine.
Yeah.
I'm not.
They're naked.
Basically, yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Her outfit is a choice.
I would say, let's see, cyberspace. I don't remember that one being a category. Did you just add that one?
Oh, this is one I added, cyberspace. Yeah, so you have the VR world they go into.
Right. And I would say they correctly identified the fact that people would not use humanoid avatars online.
Yes, people like to wear masks. We learnt this from Jim Carrey's The Mask. But
Thanks, Ben Stein.
the cyberspace is not just the VR episode I'm talking about itself, but how they interact with the cyberspace. So, like, not take this away from technology, if that makes sense. So not like the Tachcomas. That's technology
Mhm.
and AI and stuff. More like not only do you have the VR world that they go into,
Mhm.
but they can change their outfits through like cyberspace and stuff. They
Right.
can buy stuff on cyberspace. They interact with people. They can, but they still use basic technology to fax call technology. They don't speak in their heads through technology devices. They send emails and stuff, if I remember correctly. That one had a watch that did stuff for them, although I don't know if that was an old tech watch that they were using.
Mm,
But the VR space that they were in is exactly how VR is now.
right.
A little bit kookier. It reminded me a bit of Nightmare Before Christmas. One of the worlds was
Yeah.
like, what the hell is going on here? And it is, yeah. Of course, people would use chibis or characters, but like I said, the one in Ghost of the Shell, for its time, you said, oh, that people are using their own people as avatars.
Mhm.
Again, and of course, we even see one who uses a fake thing on his mask, but that isn't a VR space. That's a forum. Like that's that's Reddit. That they're
Well, because
on.
they've got cyber connected brains, basically, them connecting to the internet is just them just like slipping their eyes back into the back of their head, basically, because they could just clip into the net whenever they want to.
Yeah, and they talk through. They can do encrypted channels. They can talk to each other. Anyone on this, basically, if you've got their phone number,
Mhm.
but they can hack each other. They can, like you see when she and Butto, the Major and Butto, are about to fight, and she takes control of his body and has him punch himself, and she's like, "Always gonna win when the big guy lets me in." But the fact that they also have, obviously at the time they didn't think about. For some reason, they didn't use chibi avatars in Ghost in the Shell, which now makes sense. But back then probably didn't. But then you look at it, she wasn't using her form, if you will, but she doesn't have a form. She hasn't got a body. She is a head. Each one of her bodies is her form, if that makes sense. Whilst your characters didn't use any version of a humanoid form. They were like, floating,
Just little cute characters in.
little cute characters.
But also like think of cyberspace in my show as well. Like the holograms are used not only for
Yeah.
clothes, they're also used for decorations in parks. They're also used to confuse people if they were manipulated. Like they're realistic enough that they can be considered almost real.
Yeah, your people live in a cyberspace almost.
Basically, and also like the entire world has the government is AI controlled. Basically, the entire world is AI controlled.
Now, I'd say you win that just for mine is more. It is cyberspace. They do use it. Obviously, they are cyborgs. Some of them. It's more technology side.
Mm-hmm.
Mine uses more. Well, yours when they're in cyberspace, yours is almost separated.
Yeah. So I would say then, okay, so I'll take the point for cyberspace. I would say the use. So let's move then to technology, because I would say
Now, your tech is cool.
yeah, because I like the guns. Those destroyers are
The guns are
yeah,
great.
the guns are
I like the idea of
fantastic. The dominators.
changing. What a great name for a gun.
Yeah, right.
Dominator. Changing your clothes virtually. That's great. My people can change bodies.
Just by swapping their brain into a different shell.
It can take up their head. They don't even have to have a body. They could be giant tanks. You can be a giant tank if you want to
Or you
be.
can be a box with little arms.
Yeah, you can be a human if you want with cybernetics. You don't even have to have cybernetics.
You could just be a brain in a box.
Again, this is 2030 apparently. This ain't happening in what, 5 years? None of this is happening unless fucking Elon Musk gets his way with his bloody chips in our brains.
Right.
The tanks, the helicopters, the big gun they use to stop the tank,
Mm-hmm.
and it shoots it down and it takes it out.
That was experimental though. That wasn't even.
Yeah, but they're making them, and then the cloning machine, the ghost cloning machine with all of the cyborgs. You forget about that episode,
Yeah.
and the movie box in a brain that kept people locked in if they hated the world they live in, and that was just a tiny little case, and it kept hundreds of people in that brain box. The Tachcomas are alive. They're AI, but they're alive and they're walking. They have feelings and they like things, and they're like when they were like going through the shop, they were like shopping, like, "Ooh, can we get this?" And the Major's telling them off like children. Not to mention, you haven't even seen the cool one. I don't know if you've seen the film. When they spread their fingers to type, their fingers become thousands of little fingers. They like break into these little
yeah, I
things to
think
type.
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, like the hacking they do on each other as well. Like and like protection hacks and having dummy hacks so they can't get cyber attacked.
Mm-hmm.
The technology in this, I mean, the main thing I love main of this is the giant tank.
Mm-hmm.
Like when it's just walking through society and everyone's watching it, just like, and the police are like, they're like, get the hell out of the way, that's a tank. And they're like, all right. All these little things as well, like the little robot, like waving the little flag, and he's like a Texan. And she's like, "Do you think he's an actual old folks?" He goes, "Nah, it's probably just an AI algorithm doing the sound of it."
I would say just the nature of both of these shows being cyberpunk, like future punk kind of shows. It's hard for me to choose one or the other.
But it's different universes, isn't it?
Yeah,
They both had their tech of their time, if you will.
right.
Like obviously not in real world, because I don't know how the Dominator would even. I don't know how that gun technically works when it changes. Like because it doesn't seem to.
It transforms to meet the needs of the
But
user.
it kind of like hovers almost, like it becomes a part. And like I don't think a gun could. Like,
It's actually
that's how that
impossible,
works.
but it's really cool.
But when our guys in Gits become invisible, and you can kind of see them almost like that predator like movement, and you see their body and like it kind of warps because it's camera fly. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's really cool. But
Some of these might not count. I don't know how we're gonna do food.
yeah, I don't
Like,
think we can do food for either of these. I don't remember any product placement in either of them. Though
I don't know. We did have the pigs that you could grow your own organs in Gits. That was technically product placement.
it wasn't directly referencing something that we know that
No,
currently
yeah, you're
exists,
right.
like a Pepsi can. Campfire cooking, I swear.
Oh yeah, yeah. We didn't see any. I'm surprised though. In Ghost in the Shell, there wasn't anything like that, like the car models or anything
Mhm.
like that. Nothing was really. I thought that you know back in then as well. You think they would have taken from real life as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Unless there is like maybe some Japanese product placement in there of the time that is outdated now and we missed it.
Yeah. So I will question though. Okay, so our next section is CGI. Are you getting a point or losing a point for that?
We see again. This is again of the time.
Yeah.
You, like you said, it's everyone. You watch that intro and you go, "Oh my god,
It looks
nostalgia!"
like reboot.
I mean, it's not bad CGI though. It's better than Failure Frame,
Yeah, honestly.
and it's 2002.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
Actually, can someone please get a hold of Failure Frame and send them this and go, "Hey, this is 2002, by the way." Like,
Stop it. Get some help. Yeah.
I mean, is it a little long as an intro? Yes.
It's a minute and a half. Yes.
But the CGI, like, you know what I like though? The intro isn't the show.
Right.
They used it for the intro. I don't know why. I think it was to show what they could do.
Mm.
Almost like, hey, we're making an animation, but we want the intro to be different.
Well,
so
they wanted
here-
a show to be
do-
futuristic, and like we're making it with computers.
Mhm.
So I think
Are
I
they
think
to
it
blame
fits in
for
the
what
theme.
happened then?
I think it fits in the theme. I think my show, Psychopaths, used CGI tactfully.
Yeah, you got cars, the guns,
Sometimes
the robots.
buildings, yeah. Sometimes hologram.
Yeah, I don't remember being put off by any of your CGI.
Right.
Usually that's how I'd mark this. Like,
Yeah.
I think again, both are the same. They use tactfully. Yeah, mine is a bit grating now,
Yeah.
but at the time you wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah.
Well, you would have, but it would have been, oh wow, look at that.
Right.
Like I said, I know it's odd to use Jurassic Park as a baseline, but if Jurassic Park, a film I watched as a child and fell asleep in the movie, I was so young, my dad had to wake me up. That T-Rex to this day still looks good. Not the animatronic, the actual CGI. That's my baseline for good CGI. If they can do it then, how have you not done it now?
There's a whole argument that the bell curve of CGI used well is a really interesting conversation. I'm not going to get on a soapbox about it though. It's just because it's cheap and easy now, but it's made so cheaply now that it's not good anymore. Just because they're leaning on it as a crutch.
Yeah. Well, do you remember we talked about it? We talked about it in, I think it was Tekken, actually, with Game Club guys, about Overlord and Solo Leveling, that they use it for the big battles. And there was another one, Ultram Wayu or something. They did that as well. It was like a huge battle scene. They would use CGI characters, like almost like a game.
Mm-hmm.
When you zoomed out, it became a battlefield. It was loads of CGI characters. And you didn't really mind.
Because you're not animating the same thing 5,000
Yeah.
times. You just have 5,000 of them.
Who's going to do that? Like,
Right.
no one. Unless you do, and then like the red line people, and you shut down your bloody animation studio because
Exactly.
you did that. I mean, yes, do we appreciate they did that and made an awesome film out of it? Yeah. Did I wish it got more acclaim? Of course I did. But at the same time, I'm not going to attack a studio for using CGI tactfully, but when Failure Frame decides to do it mid-frame for no goddamn reason.
And it's just a single character. Anyway, I'm taking your soapbox away. All right.
I hate Failure Frame.
All right, so that takes us to our final thoughts. Looks like you win this round again.
Again, yep, 10-8 if you're counting along with us. I don't know if we actually said how many we won or lost. Do you think people get to this far in the episode, or they just get sick of me yelling about shit that doesn't matter?
You and your soapboxes. I need to put it away.
I'm so buying some shoes that say soapbox on them. Yeah. But no, I think this was an incredibly hard one to judge. I think I really only won by 2 points because of my sound design.
Yeah, sound design and music, honestly.
Like,
those two won it
it's
for
a
you.
good. It was a good show. And again, I don't know if I would have won that if you hadn't have watched it on your telly.
Honestly, though, like it's got enough ambience, and it definitely felt like it was more of a world that was alive, because the way that your show explores the long panning shots, the way that it explores the cities and kind of has more life given to the cities themselves, so that city is almost a character in itself. Whereas in Psycho-Pass, it just focuses on the characters. And
maybe that's the difference in the storytelling, though, as well.
Yeah.
Like, you're a localized girl we're watching, and mine's more of a unit. Because we're watching Section 9.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But yeah, and also your music is just iconic, and your composer is definitely won that one over.
I did not know they did Tank from Cowboy Bebop. A lot of Cowboy Bebop coming up in this episode. Have you noticed the theme starting in?
Yeah.
Would you say for the crime/detective show we were choosing, was there any others that came up you wanted to pick, or was this like your go-to one?
I just really wanted you to watch Psycho-Pass.
I'm surprised, because when you said it, I couldn't think of one until I remembered Ghost in the Shell. I'm glad we kind of picked similar ones as well.
Yeah, me too, honestly. And I've just really been wanting to watch this show again, and the fact that you'd never seen it, I really wanted to watch it with you. So I'm glad we had this chance.
I fell asleep on it. Somehow I missed
2012.
it. 2012.
It's so good. It keeps getting better, and there's 2 seasons of it and 3 OVAs.
Well, thanks for listening. I hope you weren't too annoyed at us this time of us yelling at each other about the same thing.
And you didn't run away at all of Jaka's soapbox rants.
You're here for the soapbox. Come on, admit it. That's why people listen.
Check out our socials. You can find us on Blue Sky at Bias Anime Podcast at bluesky.social.
You can find myself at jaka.bluesky.social.
And you can find me at skylardesperado.bluesky.social.
Again, please check out the Game Club pod, and please check all the others on the Pod Pack Collective.
Thanks for joining.
Bye.